Okay, welcome back. Let's start with the first of 3 televised games on the Sunday. It's Arsenal versus West Ham. Paddy Power 1-2 Arsenal, 7-2 the draw, 9-2 West Ham. Dan, would you be in a rush to take 1-2 Arsenal?
No, I wouldn't. I just feel at the moment that their season is so much now focused on the Europa League. Got the first leg against Atletico Madrid coming up in midweek, and I looked at the Newcastle game. They went 1 up. And as soon as Newcastle equalised, there just wasn't much of a response then. I mean, the game was even. Newcastle went on to win it and could have even added to the total really in the end. Wenger at the end of the game was saying, "I don't know how we've lost that game, but I'm really not sure how he had that assessment." So I just think that the focus has completely gone to the Europa League. West Ham against Stoke, well, that was not a great result, a 1-1 draw. I thought they played with a lot of intensity throughout the game.
It would have been a travesty if they'd lost.
Yeah, had the better chances. And I mean, at 0-0, you thought there's only one winner here, and then suddenly Stoke went in front. But also quite recently got the draw at Chelsea. Maybe a little bit fortunate to get it, but showed a lot of fight, picked up the point there, and I can see him doing something similar here. The draw price is 7-2, and that's what I'll be taking.
Dan's going to take the draw. What are you going to take, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd just West Ham or draw double chance. I mean, I don't think you want to be backing teams at really short prices when they're not that bothered whether they win or lose. It could be important that they finish 6th rather than 7th, depending on which part of the Europa League they would enter, but they're not thinking about that quite yet. It's all about winning the Europa League, trying to get back into the Champions League. They were, had some scary moments against Southampton at Stoke as well. I mean, it was a dubious penalty award that Stoke had hit the post. I mean, Stoke are a pretty poor team, as West Ham showed it the other week. So, they've had their scrapes in winning their home matches. They've got a brilliant record at home to the lesser lights, I would say that. But, would the team with this motivation, the kind of team selection he's probably going to pick with the game against Atletico coming up, I just wouldn't want to back him. I mean, it looks like a no better to me, but if you want to have a bet, I'd say West Ham or draw double chance.
Okay, poor timing, all the people who organise these games, because you've got the Arsenal West Ham game finishing at round about 3:20. You've got the Man City Swansea game starting at 4:30. So they plonk into the middle of that. 3 o'clock, Chelsea versus Southampton in the FA Cup. So it means that you could have given them quite easily 3 clean games with a bit of space in between, but no, it hasn't happened. Anyway, 3 o'clock, Chelsea Southampton, Paddy Power bet 4-9 Chelsea. 100-30 the draw, 11-2 Saints. Of course, they met last weekend. It was 3-2 to Chelsea. Marcus Alonso should probably have been sent off. He got a 3-match ban for his troubles. Mark Hughes got the hump. It all adds up to Chelsea being very short favourites. Should they be that short, Mark?
Possibly so. I mean, Southampton have got their minds on other things. Both teams are playing on Thursday, so we're not sure how they're going to come out of that. We're speaking before it, but obviously for Southampton, the game at Leicester far more important, really, unfortunately for them, than this semi-final. But I mentioned it last week when the two teams met in the Premier League. The both teams to score price looked like the one to be on. I think it is again. Southampton are showing more attacking intent under Mark Hughes. He's got players up in support of Shane Long, which was a problem for them earlier on in the campaign. Cedric and Ryan Bertrand are playing higher up as wing backs, and I think that's definitely suiting both of those. They're really good players that should and could cause Chelsea problems defensively. Chelsea not sure about them even before the Alonso suspension. I mean, Christensen's having a bit of a tough time.
Who plays left wing back?
Well, they've got Emerson Palmieri from Roma to come in, so I mean, I'm assuming he'll slot in there. Cahill's having a rough time as well. You could play Zappa Costa as well on the left if you didn't want to play Emerson. But going forward, I mean, Chelsea showed when they did actually step it up. They only stepped it up for 10 minutes at St Mary's and they scored 3 goals. Southampton, it's obvious to say, but without Van Dijk, I mean, they are not very good defensively, and I think that not selling him in the summer and then replacing him adequately is one of the reasons they are where they are. I think Chelsea will win, but it could be a high-scoring game. I mean, Southampton, got nothing to lose. They can play with a bit of ambition and freedom.
BTTS for Lango. Dan, what's your view of this one?
I'm very strong on Chelsea. I mean, as has been mentioned, this game is actually the less important game for Southampton in the week. The game of the Thursday night game at Leicester is massive, and I just don't see he's going to have to pick his best team for that game. So that means in the semi-final, you're either going to have the same players playing on that pitch at Wembley, and every chance they're going to tire, or he's going to have to make changes. In which case, it'll be a weakened side. So Chelsea, I mean, he can. We don't know what the teams are going to be for them at Burnley, but he can make a few changes and freshen it up a little bit. And I think the FA Cup now is massive for them, has been for a while, and it's a distraction for Southampton. They're a better team anyway, Chelsea. I think they'll be much too strong, and the Chelsea double result for me at 6-5 looks a bet.
Odds against. Back to the Prem, 4:30, Man City versus Swansea, a game that is likely to feature the thick end of 1,000 passes for those of us who still spread bet on passes. Which
980 for Man City as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll be an absolute pass fest. 1-7 Man City with Paddy Power, 13-2 the draw, 14 Swansea. Of course, Man City don't need to win except for all these records they're going for and my handicap bet. Swansea need it because they're still not safe. So, Dan, what's going to happen at the Etihad?
Well, obviously be about a party atmosphere there. Man City, going to want to impress the supporters. I'm not sure how much of a big score they'll be able to run up though, because Swansea I think are going to go with a very cautious attitude here. I think Carval Howie does set his teams up well organised. They're going to be looking as well at the goal difference in this game as well. You look down the bottom of the table, West Ham -19, Palace -18, Palace -18, Swansea -19, Southampton -20. So it's a big deal for them if they can keep it to a 1 or a 2 goal swing. Could be worth an extra point and be the difference between staying up and not. So I think there'll be blanket defence even if they go 1 or 2 down. City's are going to break them down probably at some stage, but I just think that the big score unlikely. Man City 2-0, 11-2 looks the play to me.
Mark?
I mean, I think had City not wrapped up the title, I would have gone City to win to 0. The fact that Raheem Sterling was Instagramming, he was somewhere on holiday, somewhere quite exotic. We've seen Kyle Walker and Vincent Kompany not somewhere so exotic in that pub in Manchester with a few of the other players as well. So, I mean, I don't know how much training that they've done this week. I expect Guardiola has given them a good few days off, and rightly so. So they may lose a little bit of focus later on. So I was aiming towards City, looking at sort of Jesus to score first. I think Gabriel Jesus looked quite lively again at Wembley. He been a little bit off the ball, but of course he scored first against Liverpool as well in the Champions League, albeit that they went out. It looks like with Aguero still struggling with injury, looks like he'll definitely play up front. He's 16-5 with Paddy Power, which does makes him, I think, a fair each way play as well if you want to go down that route. But I agree with Dan about the fact that they may not be as big a thrashing as what we've become used to. So I just played the first goal scorer.
That was the other one with the PFA team. Aguero, definite?
Well, I think he's never been in it before, so he definitely deserved to be in one. So I'm not going to rule it. I think I don't want to knock him this year, having been flabbergasted the last however many years he's not been in it. So probably just about deserved.
Okay, we've got Monday night football, 8 o'clock at Goodison. Everton versus Newcastle. And Dan, you lead on. Blimey, I'm supposed to be doing the Paddy Power PR thing. I've forgotten. Oh, here we go. 5-4 Everton, 9-4 Newcastle, 9-4 the draw. I would be amazed if either of you two tip Everton, but maybe one of you will amaze me. Dan?
I think this. I'm not going to tip Everton. I'm going to go for a little bit of, again, a bit against the grain. I'm going to go for overs here because the immediate reaction when you look at this fixture is you actually think, oh, a dour game, not many goals. But I think
they played for both clubs on this one, by the way, so give some thought to that. But anyway, go on.
No, I think there's reasons to think there might actually be a few goals. Allardyce does need to give the crowd a little bit of entertainment. I mean, they are safe now.
Care.
I don't know, in a home game...
What's he going to do, come on and juggle at half time?
They do. I know the Liverpool game was 0-0, but generally they have been more positive in home games and they do score some goals at home. So I think that they will, try and play on the front foot. I think Newcastle might be a little bit more adventurous than normal as well. Now they're safe in the Premier League, they can actually, play a little bit with a handbrake off. So I'm just thinking that there has been a trend when Everton play against the teams not right near the top, that they're more entertaining games when they're at home. So I thought the odds against overs 2.5 goals was decent. I'm going to go with that with 6-5.
Paddy Power goes 6-5. Lango?
I was going for the draw in this game. Not an easy place to actually win at Goodison Park. Even we've seen Liverpool not win there pretty recently. I know it wasn't a full strength team, but it's still a better team than what Newcastle can probably put out. But Newcastle have only lost 3 of their last 15 matches in the Premier League 2 to Man City and 1 to Liverpool. So I think that just goes to show what a great job Benitez is doing. Of course, if he didn't have the Liverpool connection, I wonder if he would be like the kind of ideal candidate. He still lives on Merseyside, I think. So what an ideal candidate he would have been for something like the Everton job if the takeover doesn't happen at Newcastle. But Everton don't really fancy them at the prices because there's a lot of negativity around the club. And Sam Allardyce coming out and saying last week that he was happy because they've avoided relegation. I mean, that is not a happy marriage. Allardyce has managed to annoy a lot of club supporters, isn't he, where he's been at, which, you know, Newcastle fans didn't like him, the West Ham fans didn't like him, I don't know.
No, we liked him.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean, was he there long enough to kind of
he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he buggered off pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
maybe while he was there, we were quite happy,
maybe it's ones that have got sort of the grander, you know, that they feel like they should be doing better, maybe, and Allardyce gets, when people criticise him, he gets quite rubbed up by that. He doesn't come out fighting, he comes out sort of just with the petty stuff, really, and it just looks like it's going to end in the sack or departure in the summer. So the draw, I think I'd disagree with Dan. I don't think there'll be many goals. I think it will be quite tight. I've spent the last 2 minutes though thinking.
I'm struggling. Can you think of anyone except Duncan Ferguson?
No, I mean, did Steve Watson play for Everton? He probably didn't. I'm really struggling.
Paul Kitson? I always say Paul Kitson. I say Paul Kitson for everyone.
Paul Kitson, I think
he
played
did.
for both. Yeah.
Have we got Beardo?
Oh, well, that yeah.
Beardo played for both,
yeah,
didn't he?
He did, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that it? Oh,
Yeah,
that's no good, is it?
Right,
Right, let's talk Champions League then, because next Tuesday and Wednesday, the semi-finals, first legs take place. Liverpool versus Roma on Tuesday, Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid on Wednesday. If you were only having one bet on those two games, Mark, who would it be?
It would actually be the double, the home double. I think home advantage in Europe is massive. In the latter stage, I think it'll even be more so. Liverpool saw they spooked Man City out at Anfield. I think they'll do the same to Roma. And Bayern Munich against Real Madrid, a very close game, but I thought Bayern Munich were the better team when these two sides met. They had last season had a player sent off in both games that really turned the tie. And I think I watched Madrid last night again. There's something chaotic about them that I just don't think they can win it again. So yeah, the home double.
Chelsea.
I'm going to go up against that. I'm going to go for Real Madrid 13-8 on the draw no bet in that first leg. You look at the to qualify prices for this tie: 4-6 Real Madrid, 11-10 Bayern Munich, and that's sort of like pointing you towards Real. And then you have to look at the home advantage. I mean, in Real's case, their away form this season, they've won 18 away games in all competitions and 14 home games, and some big matches as well. They went and won at PSG, won at Juve, in the Champions League knockout stages. They are tended to turn it on in the big away games. So I just think that that price looks a little bit big to me. 13-8 draw no bet. And
how do you bet on BT? The pundits going quiet and they play "You'll Never Walk Alone" in full. They always do.
They do, yeah.
They never do it for Glad all over. What do you think?
No, they never come out to glory, glory Tottenham Hotspur. No,
they never keep quiet for that. It's
no.
only ever "You'll Never Walk Alone."
It's quite
isn't
strange.
It?
It is, yeah.
I can't have that. If you enjoy listening to the podcast, do please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Dan. Thank you very much, Emmett. We're back next Thursday.
Success ain't earned, it's bought. That's why at Paddy Power, we paid the big bucks for the best tech nerds in the world to develop our new, fastest ever app. Download the new app from the App Store or Play Store now. 18+, begambleaware.org.